Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would do a tutorial on how to take your blueprint pictures and your regular pictures for a creation and get it up on the Steam Workshop and how all that is done. I thought it was kind of important. When I look through new releases, I see a lot of them that are kind of like I don't believe the authors knew exactly how to do all this stuff. There's nothing out there that tells you how to do any of this stuff, so it's a little confusing. And I wanted to go over all of it. So, say hypothetically, now this is a test version of the current project. I just kind of wanted to run through this a minute and get it up on the workshop, show you how to take your blueprint pictures, and also present some tricks on when you're doing this. So to start with, your most important picture that you're going to take of your ship is going to be for the blueprint itself. Now, if we take a look at this ship here, right now, we can see that the for this creation that I'm looking at right now, BOP test or bird of prey test, it looks like this. It's hideous. It's got this weird stat screen over it. Can't really see what's going on. You would hate to have that as your blueprint picture because it's almost guaranteed if you put a blueprint out there and your picture looks like this, that your creation is not going to do good no matter what it is. So that's a problem. So let's take a nice picture for this. So say I want to take a picture and I want it to look something like this. Now I could go ahead and just take this picture right away. I also want to stress the fact that F6 on the keyboard will hide your HUD, hide or show your HUD. It's a toggle. So if you keep hitting it, it'll remove the HUD. If you hit it again, it'll bring it back. You definitely want to take your pictures with the HUD off, and you don't want any equipped tools or weapons either. So in other words, if I'm sitting here with my color tool out, you don't want to take the picture with your color tool out like that because then you see the color tool in your picture, not a good thing. So you can hit 0 on the keyboard to remove whatever tool you have equipped. That's kind of an automatic thing there. So, okay, so I like this general pose of the creation for a picture. Um, let's say I want to try to make it look a little neater. Some options. Option number one that you can do for neat pictures is you can mess with the field of view. So you get into your video settings, and this is the FOV option over here. Sometimes for cinematic purposes, I like to actually take a blueprint picture at a 40 or all the way down on the FOV. Keep in mind, every time you set one of this, it's going to take you out of God mode, so you have to hit G again or you're going to fall down to the ground if you're flying in the air like I am. Okay, so that changed the FOV. It kind of makes it look, I mean, it's just kind of the same general view, but it looks a little bit different now. It changes kind of your aspect ratio, your field of vision. It almost looks a little bit more zoomed in, but it can look pretty neat for a lot of things. So that is one option to consider when you're taking a picture. Another option is considering your weather. So if you hit the tilde key on the keyboard, you can get into the console of the game. If you type in exactly how I'm doing here, weather info, it will basically print out all the different kinds of weather effects you could add. Now, this only works on the planet surface, so this will not work in space. But say I want to change the weather to, let's do fire rain. That sounds fun. Um, you can type it in just like that. It will work. It will change the weather. If I hit enter right now, it'll start to do it, but it's a slow transition between, uh, for instance, clear skies to fire rain. Could take a couple minutes for that to do that. If you're impatient like I typically am, if you put a one past that, whatever weather phenomena you pick here, it'll happen instantaneously or pretty close to instant. So now all of a sudden we have fire rain, and it changes the atmosphere in the sky a little bit more cloudy. So that's an option. So say I wanted to take my blueprint picture like this. Well, last option you've got is to mess with your time of day. I'm sure most of you know that already, but in creative at least, you can hit escape, you can hop up to the debug options, and you can adjust your global time. So if there's a particular light environment you like best for your creation, or you like the way the shadows are coming out at a certain angle, you can mess with this until you find something that you really like. Um, so say we went through all that. This is the picture I want for my blueprint picture now. So what you do now is you hit F12 on the keyboard, and that will take a picture of it. As you can see up in the top right of the screen, it just did that. So let me get out of here now. So we're looking at my desktop. Now I set up some shortcuts a long time ago because I do a lot of building and uploading to the workshop. But I made some shortcuts to three very valuable folders here. One is screenshots. And if you take a look at the path of that, and I'll get it it's displayed right on my computer with a default install of Empyrion ends up as Steam, or I'm sorry, C Games, Steam, user data, big number here, 760 remote. It's a very convoluted path, but if you, hopefully this shows up all right enough to see on the video. I'm hoping it does, but this would be the path for where your screenshots end up at. So let me go to the bottom of my list. I take a lot of screenshots, obviously. Let's take the one we just took. So now I'm going to bring this screenshot into Photoshop. Now, you may not have Photoshop. This is a very old version of Photoshop that I do have, but a free one out there called GIMP works really good. I kind of grew up with Photoshop, so I know this a little bit better. But what I'm going to do in Photoshop, any photo editing program of any origin can do it. I'm not using anything complicated. So here's my picture. I took it at my native screen resolution. Well, my manipulated screen resolution for the sake of the video. So if we take a look at our image size, it came out to 2560 by 1440 and the width and height. Now your blueprint picture, you want it to be at 800 by 450 pixels. And obviously this is a lot bigger than that. However, I mean, we could go right into here and we could go to image size and we could change it. And we could put in 800. It'll automatically plug in the 450 because it's still a 16:9 aspect ratio. So we could go like that. Problem with this blueprint picture is I'm wasting a lot of space of the picture. These things show up pretty small on the Steam's workshop. And you want to try to get your creation kind of, really visible as best you can on the picture. And me wasting all this space isn't necessarily a good thing. I would like to show the creation a little bit better. So let me undo what I just did there. I'm going to do this a different. Wow, I zoomed in. I'm going to do this a different way this time. So I'm going to copy the whole picture. I'm going to drag a box around it, hit Control C on the keyboard, or you can go to Copy. Then I'm going to make a new image, and I'm going to make it to the size I want it to be in the end. So we're going to do 800 by 450. And then I'm going to paste that image that I just copied into this. Okay, so obviously we're just seeing a little part of it right now. So once I do that, yeah, that's a mess there. So I'm going to go to image and I'm going to resize it. I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to go to transform and then scale. Now any photo program, graphics program should have these options. In Photoshop, it's done this way. So also, whatever software you got, you want to make sure you maintain your aspect ratio. I do that in Photoshop by clicking that. And I zoom out a little bit by hitting Control minus or plus. You can zoom in or out so you can see your entire box. So I will make that smaller. I'll get a lot more zoomed in here. And there's my total picture. Now, it gives me the option to drag this around and center it and make it the exact size I want without losing any potential resolution whatsoever. So say I wanted my picture like this. Say that's my final blueprint picture. Okay, so we got it there. At this point, too, it's a great time you could add graphics or text to it. In this case, I'll add a little something. We'll just call it test. Real creative there. And let me make that visible more here. There, okay, test. There's our test picture. Whoops. All right. And I need to flatten the image. So it's a Photoshop thing. Probably works that way in other software as well. And there's a blueprint picture I want. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this somewhere. I don't actually know what my blueprint is called. So yeah, I kind of did another test earlier. Okay, so we're gonna call it this BOP test pick 1. And I'm just gonna put it in this folder over here. All right, so that is here. Here's the picture we just took. And there is the saved file. So the next part here is to get this file to replace the one that is for your current blueprint. So of these important shortcuts I've got, screenshots are one, Empyrion Workshop. This is points to the workshop stuff. This is your own creations. And let me pull up this folder. Um, and take a look at the path on this one as well. Your path would be similar. This number at the end may be different though, but this is your own creations that you made where it stores them. It stores them in a separate place on your hard drive versus the ones you sub. Um, so I'm going to go through here, and the name of the ship I called BOP Test, I believe. Yes, BOP Test right here. And there is the ugly looking screenshot that's in there right now. So what I want to do is take this one and replace that one with it. However, I got to make sure the name is the same. So this one's called BOP Test. So let me rename this to the same. Okay. And then we can drag that in there and overwrite it. So now this takes place instantaneously. So when we come back into the game here, I didn't exit Imperium. You can now see we've got the correct picture for our blueprint. Um, so if I were to publish this, this is what is going to be seen on the Steam Workshop when your creation comes up. So that's good to know. So let's do a couple other pictures here. I want to talk about the actual screenshots of, the non-blueprint screenshots, your slideshow of pictures, basically. So say I take another shot, and I'm not going to get too picky on the options here. Say I take a picture there, and then I take a picture, let's take a picture on the inside somewhere. And, I really need to change that FOV back. Uh, I like to set the FOV the FOV often to 40 when taking exterior shots of things, but on the interior I do not. In the interior I like to see more in one picture. So let's say we go here and we're going to take a picture of that right there. Okay, so bam, F12, take a picture. So we took one of that and a couple other important things I'll just cover real quick. I'm going to take a picture of the stat screen here. So I'll bring that up by hitting P and then hitting F12. Take a picture of that. And then I'm also going to take a picture of this screen we're seeing right now. So I'm going to hit F12 again here. Okay, so now we took some pictures. Let me get out of here and we'll get back into our screenshots. And here we should now see those pictures that we just took. So we took this one, we took that one, and these two. So let's look at this one first. So here's our picture. It's set at the native screen resolution. On screenshot pictures, I use a weird file size for this. Essentially, let's say we just go into image and we will go to image size here and say we want to your go-to for screenshots for Steam posts. I think probably most people probably do a 1920 by 1080, which is again a 69 aspect ratio. That works most of the time, but sometimes if you try to upload some of these pictures, they'll fail. If they're taken in an area that has a lot of detail around it, say a lot of grass, trees, things like that, in your scene, the file can often or sometimes reach above 1 MB in file size, and Steam will reject it and say there's a problem with the picture. It might even say that the file size is too big. So to avoid that all the time, what I do is I put in an alternative number here, which is a mid number here. It follows the same aspect ratio, but it's 1536 by 864. So that is the size I usually like to set the screenshot pictures to. They'll always work. They'll never fail, no matter what's going on the picture. And you're kind of driving the maximum amount of resolution you could. You could take it down to 1280 by 720, which is another common number. That's like your 720p on a TV. But you get a little bit more resolution out of 1536. And 1920 is a little bit too much. So this is kind of in between the two. That's why I use this resolution. Um, so we'll do that. And then we'll just go around and we'll save this picture. Also, when you're doing this stuff too, I typically always make a folder on the desktop and I put all the pictures into that one folder, including the blueprint picture, and I store those for long term. If you ever need to update your blueprint again, it's really nice to have your original blueprint pictures, especially your blueprint picture itself. So we'll just call this BOP test dash one. Okay, so we got that. We have another picture here. So let's go back to our screenshots. This one would be done almost the same way, but I'm gonna mess with it. Okay, so obviously we got to scale this one down, but I'm going to do that same method here. I'm going to copy the entire picture, and then I'm going to do a new picture at the desired resolution of 1536 by 760. Uh-oh, is that right? Why does that not feel right? 760, 15, I think that's right. Is that right? Maybe that's not right. Well, anyway, I pasted it in there. And now the same thing. I can adjust it if I want to just focus in on one area of this picture. I can. If I want you just to look at this cargo box mostly in the picture, I can do that. So you get some options that way. I don't really care at this point. I just wanted to show you kind of how I typically go about doing that. So let me actually get rid of that one. I don't feel like finishing it, and I think I got the resolution wrong. We'll just resize this one. So I'll do the 1536. Oh, 864. See, I was off. Okay, so this one's right. We'll flatten this one and we'll save this also and put it in my same folder here and just call it like a 2. Um, so for the stat screenshots, it's usually 3 that I do. I usually always do this particular one, your overall general stats. I do the blueprint stats, and then I do the CPU stats now. So in this case, what I always do with these is well, you don't have to be too accurate, but I'll usually drag and copy out this box basically of the screen, and I'll do a Control C. I'll bring that to a new picture. I'll paste it in there, and then I will adjust the image size of it to 1536 and whatever number it comes up with there to maintain the aspect ratio. It's always going to be a little bit lower. It always works basically. So now we've got that one. I'll flatten the image on this one and we'll save this picture. We'll call this the third one here. And we'll do it one more time for this one. I do the same method. I copy this box out here and do a new image. I don't think I have to modify this image size at all. It's actually smaller than that original size. So we'll just flatten the image on this one and save this one as well. Okay, so typically in order of process, I usually like to try to achieve a blueprint picture, get it in place. So when I do take the picture of this shot, it's got the correct blueprint picture in there. That's why I like to do that before I do this shot. Okay, so we've got those done. So the next part here is to get this up to the workshop. So let me get back into the game. And I'm just doing this for test things, so this creation is not going to be visible in my workshop. I'm not going to put it to public, and in fact, I'm going to delete it once I'm done with it. So we'll take this and we'll say we're going to publish this now. We got our correct screenshot in there. Publish. Keep visibility private, airtight, and publish. So that's how you get them up on the Steam Workshop. So it takes a second here. You'll see it do this, and then you'll see it say blueprint successfully uploaded at the top. Just kind of faded away there. So let's get out of here and let's get over to Steam now. So looking at Steam, you typically want to get to the workshop. I usually go to Community, Workshop, and then you can go to your workshop files right over here. So now we can see our post that we just put there for this blueprint. So now to get the pictures in there, and obviously the screenshot's correct. It's the graphic one that we used. All we have to do over here is to add edit images and videos on the side. We go to choose files. It's going to ask you a path. So we're going to go to our desktop and we called it BOP test 1. Then I'll just start grabbing these things and uploading them. Let's do the 4 of these. All right, so they're all there, and then save and continue. Now, often too, I'll take like different sets of larger creations. Like I might take a group of screenshots in one place and a different group of screenshots in a different place. And a lot of times I like to manipulate the order of the pictures that are being shown. You can do that, but you can't do it the first time through. It doesn't work. A little bug there. But if you go, once you have these uploaded in whatever order they're in, if you go back into images and videos, you can change the order of the pictures. So you can drag these around and it will remember them when you hit save and continue. Like if I wanted my screenshot order like that for whatever reason, I could do that. And now it'll show that first, it'll show this second, and so on. Pretty simple there. And then, of course, this other thing, edit title and description. This is where you can add in all the information about your creation. And I do recommend, putting in some information here. People got to know what they're looking at, and that is it's a problem I've seen with a lot of things that get posted on the workshop. Is it's just lacking so much information. You might not have a very good blueprint picture. And when you get to the post, it doesn't say anything about it. Doesn't have any alternative pictures. A lot of times it has this half faded stat screen that you really can't read, like sitting over the blueprint picture. And those creations typically are not going to do very well. So basically, this is it. And of course, once you get everything tweaked out with your blueprint and your text and your pictures uploaded, you have to go to change visibility, and you want to set it to, well, most people would probably want to set it to public so anybody can get a hold of it. But if you just want to put it out for your friends, then only your Steam friends can see that on your workshop. That's another option. Or you can have it hidden or even unlisted. There's quite a few different options here, but it would have to go to public before people can see it and before it'll show up in the new releases. And that is basically the entire process of doing your post and how to do your take your some options with taking pictures, how to do the graphics, how to set your blueprint picture, some methods and screen resolutions and things that at least I use. I'm not saying that's the de facto way to do things. This is just my own way of doing it that I kind of adopted. I've never once I went to that 1536 resolution, I never had any more problems with uploading pictures. Prior to that, I was using 1920 by 1080. I would say 3/4 of them worked, but about a quarter of them would fail due to the image file size. You can go to 1280 by 720 as well, but I feel that you get a little bit better resolutions out of this size. I don't know if that really helps at all though. So anyway, I wanted to show you that, and now that I'm all done with that, I am going to delete it. So there we go. No more post. But that is some recommendations I would do with trying to advertise your creation. Last thing I want to show is, let's just take a look at what's currently out on the workshop. Let me hop into one of these and then get to the main page. So this is obviously as of July 6, 2022 is when I'm looking at this. So I'm going to go to most recent, and let's bring this up a little bit here. So bunch of recently posted creations. I haven't really seen any of these myself, and I'm just kind of looking at the pictures. Obviously, when these show up, when people are gonna look at them, the pictures are really small. So it's hard to make out what's going on to start with. So if you got something or like in this case, could be a very nice creation right there. But a lot of that screen is not showing the creation, and it's instead showing the background around it. So the actual creation here is so dinky I could hardly make out what's going on. That's just something, if you want your creation nice and visible and for people to see it, it's got to be seen here, and it's got to look pretty nice. So maybe everything else is done right with this one, but it's kind of small in the center. My only real problem with that. You don't need graphics. You don't need a bunch of fancy text and stuff like that on your creations. So here's one that looks really good. In fact, this one stuck out to me most on this page. probably because of how the picture is. It's very clear, very easy to see what's going on. It looks like a nice creation too. Um, However, right off the gate, I'm going to fault it for one thing, and that is there's four different versions of the same creation. Um, Now, the author obviously is, wants different color palettes, and I do plan on coloring that or covering that in a different video. But the problem with this is any potential subs or upvotes or anything like that is going to be split amongst four creations now. Like, let's take a look at how many people subbed the red one. So we got 5 people that subbed the red one. Let's look at the orange one. 2 people subbed that. You see, how many over here? Another 2 on the blue one. You kind of get the point though. So say there was a total of what do we have? 5, 2, and 2. So we had 9 total subs. What about the green? Okay, another 2 there. So 11 total subs. See, rather than this creation getting 11 subs and possibly more. I have no idea what the stats are on it, but it's splitting all those subs amongst four creations, which is going to make them all not be noticed near as much, unfortunately. And it looks like the author did a great job on this. In fact, I might even have bring this one in to look at the workshop on the weekend for the new released one. Yeah, I just thought I'd take a look at some of the other screenshots. So it's documented, it's got stats, it's got information. So this post was done pretty well. The only real fault is that it's got four of the, four creations that are going to all be fighting themselves over subs, which is, I wish there was a little bit better way to do it. Crazy Z did find a better way to do that, but it was a lot of work. And it's where he uploaded all the alternative color versions of a particular creation he did, where they weren't visible. Um, or unlisted, I'm sorry. And then he had to link all of them to his main post. But it created some more problems. I usually don't recommend doing that. Let's take a look at a couple more of the new releases here to see. Like this looks like a good picture here. This looks like a good picture here. Um, this one, mm, you can see that it's got all this over the top of it. So you can kind of tell that this actual screenshot really wasn't taken. But then when I get to it, it looks like it's kind of neat. It looks like it's certainly a potential devastating combat CV. But this one's lacking any information. So that's a big problem because I don't know. I don't know what it costs. I don't know if it's for Reforge Eden, for vanilla. I don't know what the insides look like. I don't know what the rest of the creation looks like. So that's kind of the reason why I've been doing this video is just to kind of show you how it's done all at once. So you kind of know how to take, nice pictures and things like that and go over this stuff. And the better you display your creation, especially one that's going to be viewed on this tiny little picture originally, the more people are going to look at it. And the more potential subs you're going to get, and the better chances is it can make it to the spotlight. Now, of course, authors that have been around a long time and know all this stuff end up getting in the spotlight a lot more often because they know all this stuff. So I'm trying to help everyone else that doesn't know this stuff just be able to present whatever creation you've got, in a better way that's going to be more successful on the workshop. And hopefully that works. And I'm not trying to rag on anybody's postings or creations. I look at this like every week. I've been looking at new releases, and specifically trying to look for authors that I'm not too familiar with, or never heard of before. Especially if I see something nice, when I see a well done creation that I can look at it and I know what's going on, and it looks, it's documented. It's got stats and information there. That's cool. I'll bring those in. But there's been some nice looking ones here and there that I've overlooked because honestly, I get to the post and there's nothing there. There's no information. There's no alternative pictures. There's nothing for me to judge it with. And I don't really want to take the time and chance that, well, maybe this is a good creation. Maybe it's not even finished. Maybe there is no backside to it because you can't see it. You just never know. So I mean, I just want to make sure people do it right to start with, and then after that, it's all about your how nice the creation is. So there's a lot of people out there looking for those gems, those really cool creations, especially by people that they're not familiar with. And if you can present a nice looking screenshot blueprint picture of your creation, it's gonna have a lot better chance of being successful. That's for sure. Um, there's another one that looks pretty cool. But again, the, the person that took the picture, no stats, no pictures, holding the multi-tool in front of the creation, it shows me that although this looks really cool, um, that they need to watch this video. I don't know how else to explain it. But anyway, I will shut up, and you all have yourself a good day. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope if you haven't done this kind of thing before, you learned something. I may have to do a follow-up video or a better version when I get a better microphone at some point in time. But for now, hopefully this works, and you all have yourself a great day. I'll talk to you later.